Welcome back to the channel. Today we've got Leonard's Superformance GT40. We're gonna walk around and show off all the billet parts that are now available on our website.
Okay, hit it. There he goes, rocks in.
The RPG Racing, a GT500 Predator block. It's a 5.2 liter, fundamentally a GT500 motor. However, it's just a lot of race parts built by RPG Racing.
So one of the parts that we made for Leonard was this oil cooler manifold. It goes on the Aero Classics engine oil cooler. There's a part number right here too. We have all that information available on our website. And one thing to note about all the parts we made for this car, these were one-off parts made for Leonard specifically. So they have the GT40 logo on them. The parts were not licensed to sell GT40 trademark or anything. So all the parts that we sell will not have GT40 engraved on them or anything. But Leonard's has that. It's got the P number for the car. We threw our logo on it just for fun for Leonard. This manifold has got a lot of weight taken out of it by all this little detail. It follows the gasket. Another thing we did that was kind of unique was we machined these little stanchions. And what those are is, instead of being a spacer where this bolt goes all the way through to the other side, this bolt that creates the sealing surface threads into the spacer, and then the bolt that mounts it comes up from the bottom and threads into the bottom of that. That allows you to remove this cooler at any time without disrupting the seal. That's a very important part of this, just serviceability wise, and it was just an extra step that we took, a little bit more thought and attention to detail into making this a good part that will last. So Leonard runs this. It's a very high pressure oil system in this car. It's sealed perfect and it's been working out well. Another part that we made for this car is the coil covers. This coil cover is the same as like a Gen 2 Coyote. This is the GT500 Predator. A lot of the engines of this generation will accept this coil cover. It clips on with the factory grommets, almost identical to how the factory one was, but it allows us to do custom engraving in the top. Leonard wanted a lot of the details on the coil covers to kind of tell the story of the car and help blend the engine into the car a little bit as just a casual onlooker. So I think it fits really well, it complements the car, and like I said, it helps tell the story. So those ones would be custom engraved, so that's something you would reach out to us, send us an email, and then we can get that process going. And of course, it wouldn't be complete if it rolls into our shop without getting some of our line clamps. So we snuck some of these on here. I did an install at Good Guys Car Show of these clamps, which was just kind of fun. It was the first year that we brought them out. It was fresh. So this just shows off how it's got multiple different diameters. You got 2 fuel lines, and there's your vacuum reference that goes to the regulator, all done in one clamp. Another part that we made for this car would be these, we call them dog bones. It's basically a bracket that ties the hinge up to the shock. And this was done for this Superformance car where they use these shocks, which is just a really nice function of opening this clamshell and everything. So just add some nice strength to it and a little bit of style. So like Leonard mentioned before too, he really wanted to make sure that we didn't have to drill any additional holes in this car. So all these parts need to be able to be removed and as if they were never there. So you can see some of the shape of this dog bone is to use the brackets that were in it, all the same holes. Yeah, like I said, keep it exactly as it was, which is important.
And we were talking about authenticity. And Lee Holm was one who explained to me about the suitcases, the aluminum can suitcases. And I've seen them on the car, seen them from the rear. And he had all the drawings, the original drawings, but he explained that, part of the MA, it's street legal, it's got to be the passenger. It also has to be able to overnight, GT, Grand Touring. So it has to be able to go overnight. So they had to have a place for a trunk, a suitcase. So there's nothing going to happen up front. That's what the spare tire was on these cars in '66. So they had to have, I think it was 244 centimeters of luggage space. So they come up with these aluminum can systems, and they actually hold, he told me they hold there's a Samsonite plastic luggage back then. It's pretty cool looking. I've seen pictures of it. I want to find them in blue, but there's actually Samsonite suitcases that actually drop inside of those. I just use it, it's just really for authenticity. I do, when I take it out on the street, or I do put my little tool bag down in there. No holes. The way it's bracketed underneath, everything's bolted through. There's no holes to be able to hold those in there either. Supercharger was supposed to be on there. However, they called me and says, hey, the pulley's up against the glass, do some modifications. Like, no, again, no holes, don't modify anything. So they come up with this, even though the motor's tuned for supercharger, the kit's canned for supercharger, it's built in the bottom end for supercharger, it just wasn't gonna work. It could. But anyway, I'm glad, I'm happy. Old Tough Racing came up with this system here for the air intakes and the scoops to be able to get the compression and the supercharger from that. And then Josh and I talked about the clamp system. They actually came with silicone hoses and hose clamps, and I thought there was probably something better, and Josh and Derek came up
they
with
just
that
weren't
system.
gripped on super well. So when it was at the shop, when we were designing and prototyping all these billet parts, we did some other maintenance and some other, like, just dialing in of the car and put these vibrant clamps on here.
More line clamps here too. Again, using existing holes. There's not any new holes for any of that. We'll go to the rear of the car for some of the features back there.
Yeah, please. Let's go set it down nice and easy, and we'll just go ahead and leave it just untucked. We don't clamp anything. Well, you know what?
Yeah, just do it.
Yeah, you know what's funny? Just as soon as I said that, that's how you
I
get.
remember you said
That's how you get the parachute effect. Oh no, lock it this one time.
that would be at the shop for a whole different reason then.
Well, one thing about these cars, the tail lamps, it's old technology, and the tail lights they're okay. I had many of my friends tell me if you're behind you during the day, when you hit the brakes, you really don't see the brakes. So I wanted to come up with another system to add on to that. So the FIA light, the race light, maybe someday I'll race it, who knows, or somebody will. I don't know if you saw that when I started it. It's intense. It's very, very bright, especially at night.
Like flashes and
But there's no way you're going to get rid of it with that light. And then the other one was license plate. I've seen them mounted up on grills. I just didn't want to disturb any, because that's just, the back end of these cars is beautiful. I didn't want to put anything through the systems. I wanted a light there. So we also, because the Trinity didn't have mirrors, I wanted some kind of a rear camera system, ultra discreet. I didn't want anything to show any kind of technology that wasn't kind of somewhat current. Another thing I wanted to be able to do was, if I wanted to drive it somewhere with the license plate number and all that, however, when I got to a show or something, I could pop that off. I could pop my regular Washington plate off, and I could put on any plate I wanted to. Just snap it on, snap it off, snap it on, not unscrew anything, and we'll demonstrate what that looks like. And again, that was all done with no holes drilled, everything's bracketed. The way this works is, so right now, see the backup camera's right here. It's right here, GT40, and that's right hidden right in here. And the way that it's devised is, I've played with some wires you guys have done, so it's not as nice looking as you guys had it, but it's very simple. You just pull forward a little bit. There's one button on the back, and the whole system comes off. 2 pins, this button here, there's your button. Put on any plates you like once you mount them on the mounting system. This one here is for no camera. This is just for showing it, and I'm not driving it, so no camera in the rear. And same thing, very easy. Just pops on, snaps on onto the button, and it's not going anywhere. It's not coming off. So that was one very cool system. The race light, I love this. I love this here. So Derek came up with the system again. Anything that was custom, that wasn't authentic, I wanted to be able to drop it and clear it out pretty quickly if I wanted to, and show it raw. Like for instance, when I was at Sonoma, matter of fact, that's one thing I didn't show you. Once you pop this off, 3 screws, the whole mounting system comes off, and they're just wrapped around. These billeted parts come around the backside and the screw. The whole thing falls off. Falls up, the whole thing drops in your hands. It looks just like this, completely raw. The other piece was the light. So the system is easy. It's one pin. You slide up, and you remove the light, just little plugs. There's your light. And then, what's really cool, that's not supposed to be there, it's not. So this is simple. This will demonstrate also the system which they came up with on how to mount things without holes.
This is all billet aluminum. These ones are anodized. You could have them anodized later after you buy them. We'll sell them all in raw finish though. Little clamps. So these are all the little pieces. All of this stuff is available on our website. And the rain light, this is a lifeline light.
Yes, that's the official FIA light.
We'll have the part number and everything on our website for this as well.
Very simple to wire in also. Another one, you can come right into your original pigtail. You see this done right here. You go in, you pick the 2 wires you need.
Yeah. And we just set it up to like a Deutsch connector, so it's easy to disconnect. And
slide it back on. Pin goes in. And the pin goes back in. Done.
the 2 parts on the back of this car would be license plate mount and the rain light. Both clamp on and can be removed at any time, no holes drilled or anything, for the GT40 Mark II.
You can go without camera system, with camera system.
Yep.
Okay, the inside, there's lots of cool things. I've seen many people, they throw their steering wheel on the dash. These dashes are painted, they're flat black, and it's a very difficult paint to match if you were to damage it. I've seen it also drilling holes in the body and putting hooks. And the other part too, hooks, I thought, oh my gosh, who would want a hook in a car, in a race car? Like, that's the last thing you want going into your head. So no holes, no hooks. And so I just told them that's the parameters, that's the guidelines, just to buy something. And they came up with the system, and they added a feature when I was surprised, besides having a place to put the steering wheel, that's really great, the system where I can have multiple things. But
so as Leonard mentioned, he wanted a way to mount the steering wheel in the car to display it, have a place to hold it while he gets in and out. That wasn't a hook on the ceiling where you'd have to drill holes, wasn't laying on the dash or the paint or anything. So there again, same theme of using existing bolts. We saw that there was a couple bolts that hold basically this glass in place and on this firewall area. So we utilized those 2 bolts and machined a bracket that has the same hub mount as the steering column. Additionally, it got a mount in the middle because there was space for it to mount a GoPro. So this bracket just clips in and out, and there's a little set screw. So it allows you to put a GoPro there for a track day or car show or whatever. It's just fun to record all that stuff. And then you can also snap in your steering wheel.
It's a great way to display it too, because you can see the wheel in the car, you can see it through the windshield, and those steering wheels are just, they're beautiful.
Yeah, it is just an awesome spot to display it. So the mount for the steering wheel that mounts the GoPro, it's just a totally modular mount. So you could put like a phone mount on it. Tighten down the little jam screw. That puts a little tension on it too, just to help keeps it from vibrating, because this car vibrates. And this keeps it away from, like I said, away from your head, or it doesn't add any obstructions for viewing or anything. So that's seemed to work really well. It's been a popular part.
So another thing was, just like on this car here, the wipers, like I don't drive the car on the rain, and the wiper is kind of right there. It's kind of like in your vision. And I like 2 things for safety is visibility of tires. I want as much visibility as I can. I wanted the wiper out of the way. I wanted to be able to remove the wiper, however, be able to put it back on. Pretty easy, but I didn't want just a bare nut and a post sticking out. And I asked, can you come up with something? I call it the wiper delete. The wiper and the mirror deletes. And they came up with a really phenomenal system that actually holds the hose also, because once you take your wiper off, you've got this hose. And the last thing you want is that thing to sneak down and drop into there's the AC box there and all the HVAC and everything, and that hose will drop down in there.
So this is another part that Leonard had in his head to dress up this area when the wiper is off, and just kind of said, hey, what can you guys come up with? So Derek and I created this shape, and Derek machined it, and it turned out great. Some of the key features of this are this nut threads onto where the wiper would thread. And this has got a little groove in it that captures the wiper washer hose so that you don't lose it during the transition of putting the wiper on and off, etc. One thing to note is when you do install this, we recommend removing the fuse so that you don't accidentally turn the wipers on, because this is all attached to that stem. This shape of it just kind of flows with the body. They're again just trying to keep it aero, keep it matching. It's polished finish, just like these hinges, so that you notice it but don't notice it. Another thing we did on this car, Leonard wanted to remove the mirrors, because as he tells the story, Andretti did not want side view mirrors on the car. So that would have left some holes here. We had talked about doing like just a cover basically that would have been a little bit more flat. Our concern with that is it would have just looked like a cover. So we decided to add a little bit of elevation to it. That gave us some thickness to thread into, as well as kind of streamline it and make it look a little bit more aero. A lot of people probably look at this and think it is a feature of the car to straighten the air out as it goes over the fuel line or the fuel fill or something like that, but really happy with how that turned out. Bolts right into the factory holes, you can take it out. The base of it is also the same shape as the mirror, because we know working on custom cars, that mirror is going to leave a small print there. So that covers that print and just makes it totally seamless.
One thing I was really disappointed with were a couple things, but the washer bottles on these. The washer bottles looked like it came out of a 72 Vigor, but it's a plastic washer bottle, a motor, and it was darn ugly. So I told them about that too. And I says, hey, I want something that looks a little more race oriented, a little more aluminum, looks like the rest of the front here. And they came up with this system. Again, the same clamps. Authentic. It's supposed to be a Fomoco, like a plastic bag.
This is an aluminum reservoir that replaces the washer bottle basically on these cars. A couple things we did with it was this bracket bolts into the holes that come from Superformance or Downforce, whoever installs these. and it's got a pin in it so you can remove it, clean it, drain it, and then the little sight glass as well, so you can check the level of it without having to take off the cap.
So the mount system is very similar to the brake system. So it's got a slide bracket. All holes are exactly where when you remove your original part, you just slide off that. You apply their billeted mount in the exact holes, just as they are on the car. Very simple. And it's got the sight glass on it. Drops in. And also just a much better electric pump. Very simple. Everything that was added to the car can be removed from the car very, very quickly using existing holes throughout the whole car. Everything you've seen so far throughout the car is very easy to mount. I mean, this is just, basic tools. You saw what I was using. Even a power tool. Allen wrench tool, a few Allen wrenches, a 7/16 or 10 millimeters. There's 7/16 and 10 millimeters all over these things.
Same.
One wrench, one socket, go through the whole, practically the whole car. When taking on a project like this reminded me of when we built our home. We were very fortunate. We were very fortunate to get a very creative, hardworking, enthusiastic builder, and we had the most wonderful experience building a custom home, and I'll never forget it. Same experience when you're doing these types of things. I mean, these cars, you're sorting them out. You've got a lot of things going on, and there's a lot of enthusiasm. I mean, anybody who owns one of these cars understands exactly what I'm saying. If you don't own one and you're thinking about owning one, you probably have that excitement about just the possibility. Once you have it, you're going to be enthusiastic. So to have an experience all the way through from anticipation's 150% of the consummation. It's just as much fun almost just thinking about it. Now you finally have it, and now you're very enthusiastic. And then to have ideas and things you want to do, and to have someone to work with, the Sanders boys, to share what you see, share your vision to that, and then have them listen and even take what you're thinking further than what you imagine, and then also made it so entertaining. I was always informed about what they were doing. They told me where I was at. I'd say the communication was fantastic, but most importantly was the professionalism, but ultimately it was the creativity and the entertainment of dealing with these two raccoons. They're very clever. I call them raccoons. They're clever like raccoons. They get little paws and they're really smart. But anyway, they were very entertaining for sure. And it was always fun to go there when I did have to go to see what else they're working on too. So they made it very, very fun. They kept my enthusiasm through the whole thing, and probably as you can tell, I'm extremely pleased with everything they did. I've got some other ideas too coming up. Anything that you could conceive about your car, what you might want to do, they can do that, and probably will make it better and more interesting than what you'd imagine to begin with. So I'm very, very, very happy with it. And others are too. Everywhere I take it, anywhere I take it where there's an event, it's commented on a lot about just the car itself, because it is beautiful. But people understand these cars are owned when they recognize all these things. For sure, they're great.
Thanks, man.
How's that? Is that okay?
I was thinking
more
like
than enough.
I was thinking like a 2-second testimony. We got the full. So you could put like a phone mount on it. All kinds of different stuff will go right in there. You can put a phone mount on it. All kinds of different stuff will go in there. Bottom or top?
Oh, there's a screw out here.
Oh, that's what it was.
Yeah, Beckett
Okay.
screw out there.